This is the best XP farm for Minecraft Bedrock, and it's going to bring you from level 0 all the way to level 60 in just 3 minutes, so settle in and let's build. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find a nice open area to build the farm in, preferably a nice flat area like this. However, you can really build it anywhere you would like. The first thing we're going to do is dig out a 3x3 hole, and then once we have this 3x3 dug out, we're going to dig down 2 more blocks, bringing us to a total of a 3x3x3 cube. I think that was enough 3s, but yeah, we're going to remove this many blocks and you should be left with something like this. We're then going to remove this center block and we're going to place down a sand and then a cactus, and then on top of the cactus, we're going to place down a composter. An important thing to note is to make sure that there are absolutely no stone blocks in the surrounding area or any of these silverfish infested blocks, so that would include things like stone bricks. I'm actually just going to set up a thing really quick. So you want to make sure that none of these blocks are in the surrounding areas. These are infested stones, and if they are in the area, then every time you use the farm, these are going to deconstruct and turn into silverfish, and it's going to become an absolute nightmare. So make sure that none of these are in the surrounding area, and once you've made sure of that, we're ready to move on. We're going to dig out a hole right here, and it's going to be 2 blocks deep. We're then going to grab our water bucket, which isn't in my inventory, and we are going to put it in this back corner right here, which is going to push everything over into that hole. From here, we're going to come up top and we're going to dig down so we can see the water. We're going to place down our lightning rod now, and this is going to be where the trident killer is. So this is going to be where the silverfish are going to die, the silverfish are going to get stuck on the lightning rod, and then the tridents are going to move really quick, and they're going to kill all of the silverfish. So once you have your lightning rod in place, we're going to take our trapdoor, we're going to place it so that it opens towards the wall away from the farm, like that. Once you have that done, we're going to come over here and we're going to dig down 2 blocks just like so, and we're going to place down a trapdoor right there. This is going to be where we get our zombie. Don't worry, we don't have to get him just quite yet, but we will have to get a zombie in that hole in a second, which is easier said than done. But for now, we're going to remove these 2 blocks along with these 2 blocks, so that way we can make room for our observer clock. We're also going to remove these 2 and these 2, so I guess that is a 4-block strip that's 2 blocks deep. Once you have that dug out, we're going to take our observers, we're going to place them so that way the red dots are both pointing on the outsides, so that the faces are looking at one another, and if you've set it up correctly, then the texture should be switching on and off with this lit texture. From here, we can now fill in this side with blocks. However, firstly, you might have noticed in the materials list, I said that there is an optional sticky piston and lever, and honestly, I don't even know if I should have said if it was optional because it makes the farm so much more convenient. We're going to put an upside down sticky piston right here so that way we can push and pull this observer to stop the clock. What this is going to allow us to do is, 1, it's going to allow us to turn off the observer clock, so that way the trapdoor won't be clicking with all of the sounds. So let's go ahead and fill in these blocks because you do not need those. So this is what the farm is going to look like, and if you use this piston, you're going to see that this is what it is when it is on, and when you turn it off, it looks like this. There's another use for this piston, which is that every time you relog from the game, you are unfortunately going to have to reset your trident, so you're going to have to pick up the tridents and rethrow them. Without this to stop the farm, it is going to make it infinitely harder to recast those tridents because you will see that the trapdoor goes a little bit berserk. So it is very convenient to be able to turn on and off the trident killer. The next thing we're going to do is grab our blocks and we're going to pillar up above the trapdoor by 4 blocks and remove these bottom 3. And this is going to make it so that if you are above the ground, if there's sunlight, if you can see the sun, you need this block because this is going to prevent zombies from burning in daytime. If you're underground, I guess you don't really need that block. That is simply to prevent the zombie from spawning. Speaking of which, it is now that time. I'm going to wait for it to be night, and I am going to get a zombie inside of this hole. And once it's turned night, it is time to go zombie hunting, or in my case, I'm just going to spawn one in and then run away from it because it's going to start chasing me. You're going to go ahead and open the trapdoor, and you're going to really hope that he just walks into the hole, which of course he's not going to do, so you're going to have to punch him until he gets in there. You could probably make this a little bit easier by placing down some walls on the edges, but I managed to get pretty lucky. We're then going to take our name tag, go ahead and name him, shut the trapdoor, and he can no longer hurt us, and he's also not going to despawn because he's named. It also gives this cool little thing where like the head occasionally pops through the trapdoor, which I kind of like. It's kind of like a cute little texture. Very, very niche. Okay. And now that you have the zombie in here, we can now sleep and wait for it to be daytime again, or in my case, I'm going to set it back to day. Alright, the next thing we need to do is set up a breeding chamber with 2 armadillos, and we're going to breed them together using spider eyes, so we're going to feed them both spider eyes. they're going to breed, and then we're going to have 3 armadillos inside of this chamber. An important thing to note is you want to make it far enough away from the zombie that they're not coiling up like they are here. I made it on the edge, for example, but what this is going to do is it's going to make it so that you can't actually breed your armadillos. You can't actually feed them when they're inside of their shells. And you're going to want to have between 1 and 5 armadillos, depending on the device you're playing on. The more armadillos you have, the more silverfish that are going to spawn, the laggier your game is going to be. So I'm going to use 5 armadillos for the sake of this tutorial. I'm just going to go ahead and throw them all in there. And basically, now we need to do the hard part, which is transporting these guys inside of the composter. And in order to get them inside of the composter, we're going to need to remove this grass block right here, and then place down a temporary block between it and the composter. From here, we can grab our rails, and we can create a rail system going towards the composter. Grab our blocks, place down blocks going around the edges, just like so, and we're going to place down more temporary blocks, just so that there's no chance of the armadillos escaping. Once we've made sure of that, we are ready to get them inside of the composter, so we are simply just going to remove this block. And in fact, they might just push themselves inside, which would be honestly kind of useful. My minecart is not in the right spot, so we're going to put them inside the minecarts. If they're not pushing themselves, we're going to push them as far as we possibly can and then break it. They're going to end up inside of the composter like this, inside of a ball, and this is actually just going to send them into an infinite spiral of pain. That was really utterly sad. All right, we're going to do the rest of these guys now, and we're just going to, again, push them as far over as possible, break the minecart. Minecart, go get the mans, push them over, push them as far as you can, break the minecart, same thing, over here. Let's just get rid of that block, it'll make it a lot easier. Push them over, break the minecart, go get our minecart, go get the baby armor. Oh, he'll eventually grow. His entire life is just pain and suffering. That's all he will ever know. Okay, once you have all of that done, we're going to remove those rails. We're going to take our grass. We're going to place this back and remove all of our temporary scaffolding. So we're just going to remove all of these blocks. And once you've done that, we are getting extremely close to being ready to actually use the farm and absorb all of that sweet XP. This thing is incredible for mending your tools. Again, it is going to bring you from level 0 to level 60 in 3 minutes, which is insane to me. Like, this has got to be one of the fastest XP farms, like, ever. But once you, I don't think I even said, yeah, place down a ring of leaves around the farm, and just like that, we are now ready to go ahead and actually use the thing. I'm so excited. There is only one more block we need to place, and we're going to place the final block in survival mode. So we're going to place down a fence post right above the trapdoor. That way you can't accidentally fall in here. And more importantly, other things can't fall in there, like a chicken, because if anything falls inside of this hole from the top, it's going to knock the trident, and then the trident killer is going to be all messed up. And then the farm's going to lag out, and it's going to be a big deal. So make sure that this fence post is here. Once you have your fence post in place, all we have left to do is to throw the tridents, and we're going to throw them at the center of the trapdoor because they are going to be sitting on top of that lightning rod. So we're going to take our trident, throw it at the center of the trapdoor, the trident, center of the trapdoor, center of trapdoor, center of trapdoor, center of trapdoor. All right, and the reason why this piston is here is because you have to throw these tridents while the trapdoor is shut. If it is going all crazy and you throw the tridents, it is not going to work. But once you have your tridents thrown, we are ready to go ahead and start the farm. So in order to do that, we're going to go ahead and turn on the piston, which is going to knock all of our tridents sideways. And you'll know that the thing is working if the tridents go from the thrown position to laying sideways. This means that they are currently moving. Even though it doesn't look like they are actually moving. Now that we have done that, we are ready to throw our infestation potion. We're simply just going to throw it at the center of the horde, and then they are going to spew out silverfish, which we can then just sit here, collect our XP, hold all of our tools with mending, and just sit back and relax. This thing is incredibly fast. Again, 0 to 60 in 3 minutes. We're actually going to get like 62 levels, I think, is what I got when I tested this. I'm not sure if it's going to be exactly the same every time. It probably won't be, but 62. It's going to be above 60, which is absolutely insane. I'm going to get back to you when this thing is done. It takes about 3 minutes for the potion to wear off, and yeah, I'll see you in a minute. As the farm slowly dies down, I have come to a very unfortunate realization in that the reason why I only got 55 levels instead of 62 is because one of these guys is a baby, which means I don't think it's giving me XP. That is horribly sad. The poor baby. But yeah, 55 levels from one potion is absolutely insane, and I've gotten 62 levels. I'm sure you can get even higher, and I think this confirms my theory that it is completely random, but it definitely generates you lots of experience points. The last thing I have to show you is how to reset the farm after relogging, and this is probably one of the more important parts of the video, so pay attention. What we're going to do is we're going to have to pick up these tridents because every time you relog, they're going to glitch through the trapdoor and end up on the lightning rod, and unfortunately, there isn't really a way to fix that, so that's why this piston comes in handy. We're going to stop the farm, we're going to remove this one block right here, which would mean that we can pick up the pistons, so I guess we got to pick up this one as well. Once we have those blocks removed, there's the dirt. We can go ahead and place back our dirt. We can then grab our tridents and we're going to rethrow them at that center trap door. Once we've done that, we can go ahead and start the farm again, throw our potion, and all will be well. I don't have a potion on me right now though, so let me grab one. Alright, as you can see, our tridents are set up. We've just thrown them, and in fact, I'm just going to wait to turn on the trident killer. We're going to go ahead and throw the potion at the center like we did before. The silverfish are going to spew out, and then we can go ahead and flick this lever, which is going to start the trident killer. And as you can see, it did it again. They fell on their sides, and you can see that they're moving around, killing all of those silverfish. We're collecting the experience points, and all is well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then be sure to subscribe and leave a like. My name is 1UpMC. If you want to download this world, it'll be on my website, which is linked in the description. Please consider subscribing, leave a like, and I will catch you guys in the next one.